The World Trade Organization's agreement on fisheries subsidies, its first environmentally focused accord, enters into force on the 15th of September after years of thorny negotiations at a time of heightened international trade tensions. Agreed by more than 100 WTO members, including the United States, the European Union and China, the agreement sets binding rules requiring governments to consider the legality and sustainability of the fishing activities they subsidize. The discussions towards the deal began all the way back in 2001, with WTO members finally reaching an agreement by consensus in June 2022. Here are the main points of the agreement. Broader rules regarding subsidies for activities that contribute to overcapacity and overfishing remain under negotiation. The deal bans subsidies to any vessel or operator engaged in illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, or the fishing of overexploited stocks. However, a country can grant or maintain subsidies implemented to rebuild the stock to a biologically sustainable level. The agreement also prohibits subsidies for unregulated fishing on the high seas, including areas outside the jurisdiction of coastal countries, thus providing protection in cases where stock management measures are lacking. According to a widely cited study in the Marine Policy Journal, global fisheries subsidies totaled $35.4 billion in 2018, of which $22 billion contributed to increased fishing fleet capacity. The agreement says countries must take special care and exercise due restraint when granting subsidies to vessels not flying their own flag, and when granting them to fishing or related activities if the status of the stocks concerned is unknown. Besides regular notifications of subsidies, WTO members are required to update the organization on how the agreement is being implemented. This includes, for example, the status of fish stocks, information on vessels receiving subsidies, and a list of vessels and operators that the country has determined to be engaged in IUU fishing. In the event of disagreements, countries can refer matters to the WTO's dispute settlement body. The agreement provides a peace clause to the world's least developed countries and developing countries, exempting them from subsidy bans within their own exclusive economic zones for 2 years. Furthermore, developing countries and least developed countries whose annual share of the global fish catch does not exceed 0.8% can submit their fisheries notifications to the WTO every 4 years instead of every 2 years. They will also benefit from technical assistance, and the WTO has set up a special fund to support them, which to date has received $18 million in voluntary contributions. If the second agreement outlining comprehensive rules on overcapacity and overfishing is not adopted within 4 years, the first agreement will be immediately terminated, unless WTO members decide otherwise.